I thought the Pegasus Premium could become that shoe, but I think they
I think
priced
we
it
talked
too
about
high.
that. I think we talked
Yeah,
about that
I think
previously.
they,
Is like,
I think Nike just priced it too high, and put it out
mm,
of the grasp of the people that could just kind of just buy it as like, oh, I'm gonna buy a pair of these. Those are like a thoughtful purchase, as opposed to like, oh, I'm gonna grab a pair of these.
hello and welcome to episode 41 of the Too Hard to Pass podcast. I'm your co-host Juan Martinez, and to my left or to my right, it's Jacques Slade.
Yo, what up, people? Welcome to the Too Hard to Pass podcast. We got a good show lined up for you today. The show was really good today, so hopefully you enjoyed Hard Pass this past week. If not, let us know why, and we'll work to make this show better for you guys. I place all the blame on co-writer for that. So if there's any problems with the show, it was definitely co-writer's fault. So FYI,
What did
just
I
putting
do?
that out there.
What did I do? What did I do?
Just
It's
letting the people
Nintendo
know.
themed. That I just wanted to put it out there that it's been a week. I've been enjoying the Nintendo Switch 2. I thought it's basically been the upgrade that everybody has been asking for. Some people have kind of like derisively called it the Switch Pro. And my thing is, it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing that it's a Switch Pro. I mean, because people when they hear like Nintendo's making a new console, they want it to be like this revolutionary thing that changes the game up, switches things up, it does something weird and wacky. And my thing is, nah, man, like we're good. If Nintendo doesn't have something in the chamber that is quote unquote revolutionary, just upgrade the Switch because it's super popular and everybody likes it. And let's be honest, it's been copied. You got your Steam Decks, your ROG allies, your everything. Everybody's trying to catch up to Nintendo to a certain degree, and they just released their upgraded version, and they've got their library that no one else has. So, yeah, why mess with a good thing? At the moment, who knows? Maybe with a Switch, or maybe there will be a Switch 3. Maybe that's when they have their new gimmick in mind. But for right now, I don't think I have a problem. I don't have a problem with people calling it a Switch Pro or a Switch 2 or whatever they want to call it. It's just it's better, and it feels like it's been the thing that we've been waiting for.
I mean, I think people are going to complain regardless, just because that's what people do, especially in this era of the internet. Like, we're going to get people complaining no matter how good or bad it was. So It makes it hard to judge unless you kind of get it yourself. And if it meets your personal needs, if it does all the things that you wanted it to do,
Exactly.
then be happy with it. Don't let the internet kill your joy, because the internet will kill your joy if you give them the opportunity.
Oh, absolutely. Like the internet, it's pretty tough. Like, it can happen, but in this case, it's not going to mess with my joy. I'm enjoying Mario Kart as much as I ragged on it during the show and said it was a lot of, a lot of the Mario Kart BS is back. It kind of dwindled a little bit for Mario Kart 8, but like during the Wii era, oh man, it was just full of like nonsense. Every time I would play online and play with friends, Nintendo doesn't respect skill when it comes to these games. They want it to be always these tight, tense games, whether it's Mario Kart, Mario Party. They want it to be always close because they always want you to be just enjoying yourself with your friends, which I get. I totally get it. But if I'm not going to say you take it seriously, but if you play it enough, you're going to have like this expectation that, oh, if I do this, if I am, skilled enough to do like, the drifts and all that stuff, reasonably, I can expect to always play decently, right? But with Mario Kart, nah, you are always just one bad drop away from going from first to 24th. And that's happened enough that I'm like, I can't with this sometimes, but it keeps me coming back.
But isn't that what makes it exciting? That you
It's
never know what's
tense.
going to happen.
It's super tense. It's always like, oh my God, like you're always fearing like something could happen. You're always fearing that something could always come get you at the end when you think you are almost, you've got the checkered flag in the bag, right? You think, oh, I got this. But then all of a sudden, here comes these shells from out of nowhere and you're like, boom. And then you go from like, it's almost okay if it's like from first to second, but if you go from first to like 18th, it's so painful. It's so
That's
hard.
a little tough.
It's like, oh yeah, man. Like I've been playing the online knockout mode, which is basically you're on one long course and then there's these checkpoints and then you go from, they cut down the field from 24 to I believe it was like 20, 16, 12, 8, 4. And then every checkpoint, you're like, okay, I get through. Oh, I made it. I made it. So sometimes I'm always just like getting at the skin of my teeth. Like I'm always like, oh, I got 20th place. I got 16th place. I got 12th, 8th. And then at the end, I'm like, oh, I won. It's always like you're just like dragging and just barely making it. And then at the end, you just hit that lucky item, that shell or whatever, and then you
See?
just magically win. And sometimes it works out for me. Sometimes it does work out for me, but most of the time it doesn't. It doesn't. I can't tell you the number of times where I thought I had it. I was like, oh, I'm this is it. I'm actually gonna win. But then out of nowhere, someone has a red shell for me, and I'm like, no, no. And then there they go, and I'm like, oh, it was just so painful. I think I had like almost 10 second places before I actually got my first win. And then when I got my first win, I was like, yeah, I quit. I like
Isn't the prevailing wisdom that you just get like a green shell to hold on to?
That's true, but that doesn't counter the blue shell. It doesn't counter a blue shell. And sometimes because when you're in the lead, you don't get like the best items, obviously. Like you get bananas, you get green shells. And sometimes you can, sometimes you do get the green shell and you can hang on to it so that, the red
Right.
shell doesn't get you. But when you don't get that red shell, you don't get those shells to protect you or don't get those bananas to help you. Like, like I've had situations where I'm like in first and I've gotten the ghost. The ghost where it steals an item. Or actually the very helpful one is the I guess it's like a boombox or like a horn, which is the only thing that can prevent you
Horn?
from a horn. It's like it's basically like when you hit it, it like puts out this like sound barrier around you, and it knocks everybody around you out, and it also prevents the blue shell from getting you. That's like if you have that red sound box like towards the last lap towards the end, it's perfect because it can prevent you from getting knocked out by the blue shell. But that's if you get that. But if you're if you and then there's the other items like now you have boomerangs, you got the hammer bro hammers. Those don't keep you safe. The green shells don't keep you safe from those. So there's even more items that kind of it's the green shells were not as don't protect you as much as they used to back in the days. So
Interesting. All right. All right.
but yes,
I was
it's
not aware. Now I'm gonna have to
yeah.
get one so I can test this out.
Yeah, man. Like, oh man, I I don't really like watching people play on like, on YouTube videos. Sometimes I'll just watch it just to kind of get a feel for it. But I have been enjoying watching compilations or and like also on my phone and on TikToks of people going through the same thing. Because sometimes you think, oh, this is just me, isn't it? Like I am just failing miserably, and I'm getting constantly screwed. But then you see other people get screwed, and you're like, all right, okay, I feel a little bit better now. It's not just me. Because it's funny to
Right.
watch. It's funny to see everybody else like go from second place or whatever and then just get hit with like barrage of the shell, the lightning bolt, and all that stuff, and then just see everybody just whiz by, and you're like, it's always just so painful to
Part of
watch.
the
But
game, fam. Part of the game.
It's Schadenfreude. It's like you enjoy other people's misery, and it's like, man, I feel so much better about myself that it's not just me who sucks, or I just had an unlucky run. It's just,
Yeah. I hear you. I hear you.
yeah. So, yeah, like I said, I'm still enjoying it. At the same time, we're a month away from the next game. Like, I eventually like it's just like that with every Mario Kart. Like, eventually you get your fill of it, and you're just waiting for the next thing. And the thing with these like with these Nintendo launches is sometimes there's a really dry spell in between new
Yeah.
games. So I do have a decent backlog of stuff that I haven't played like in the Switch 1 that's, got all the upgrades and everything for the Switch 2. So that's going to, keep the system going. But we have a month away until Donkey Kong, and that looks great. Like, I think that's
Yeah.
going to be a really cool game. I love the way Donkey Kong looks. For the first time in like 30 years, Donkey Kong actually looks funny and cute and hilarious, unlike this super serious face that he's had for like all that time since Donkey Kong Country. I've just been like, I've never just been down with the Donkey Kong design and look. But now that he looks more cartoony and expressive and fun, I'm like, okay, I can get back into this. So yeah, I'm looking forward to Bonanza, which is, I can't believe it took us. Donkey Kong's been around for 40 plus years, and we only now
Took us
got
that
in a
long
game
to
that's
find that one.
to finally make a game called Bonanza. Now, to be fair, I didn't think about Bonanza until they named it that way. So even I'm the idiot. Like it's like, how did we not come up with? But they're the guys who make the games. How did they not come up with the name Bonanza until right now? It's just, come on, man. It's genius. It's
I
genius.
mean,
I
because
love it. I love it.
I mean, it's like a dad joke. It's really a dad joke, honestly.
It's yeah, but Nintendo is the dad video game console. I mean, Nintendo is the dad video game company now. I mean, if you
How do
really
you
think of,
qualify that? Qualify that
well,
the
it's
dad's
because
video game console.
well, it's the one that kind of brings people together. I mean, it's the family console. It's also, Nintendo's just been the one that's lasted the longest out of every. They're the survivors. They're the ones who got through the Atari era, the Sega era. They're still around. They've survived PlayStation. They've survived Xbox. So they're around. So you've got dads, grandfathers. You've got everybody playing a Nintendo. Like if you think about the Wii and how it really got everybody involved, Wii Sports, man, every Wii Sports will like if you I mean obviously you were around during that era. So you had a Wii, you had Wii Sports, you had everybody playing it. People who didn't care about video games, even when like, when it was like the new fancy thing back in, the 70s and the 80s, like, Space Invaders and all that stuff and Mario's and everything, they didn't care. But once they got their hand on that Wii remote and played bowling, that was the jam. So that's why, and this, I'm not saying it to be, dismissive or anything. I just feel like Nintendo's just the everybody console. Nintendo's the everybody video game company.
I would say, yeah, I would. Okay, I would say more everybody. I wouldn't say dad. I feel like the dad console
Sure.
is like an Xbox or a PlayStation, but the
Sure.
family console, like I would almost say like the kids console is Nintendo. Like unless you're just like, I think unless you're into like I don't want to say video games, like into Nintendo almost like you have to be like into Nintendo, I think, to get the Switch. Like my kids, like my daughter is not like
Right.
super into video games, but she has a
Right.
Switch
Mm-hmm.
kind of thing.
Right.
And I feel like
Mm-hmm.
that's like who Nintendo like Switch is for. It's not for like the almost like not the hardcore gamer.
Okay, so I was just saying. So when you think of dad, you think of like well, maybe not a hardcore gamer, but someone who has a very specific taste, like sports games, like your Maddens, your 2Ks, and of course, your how can I say it? Like your Call of Duties, your Battlefronts, and your those kinds of games that have like very specific like bang bang shoot like power fantasies, that kind of thing, like it's very much like
consoles console PC gamers are like the
right
dad game,
right
that's
right
why I
right
picture the dad gamers in my head. Like when I think of Nintendo, I think of like young kids or people that are just like not hardcore gamers.
Sure.
I mean, I guess you could play Nintendo and like do Nintendo stuff and still be a hardcore gamer, but
right
I don't know. I just when you said that, I was like,
I
that
see.
doesn't
I get what you're
sound right.
saying. But speaking of Call of Duty, I just had to bring that up. I don't know if you saw like the trailer for Black Ops 7. We are at Black Ops
I haven't seen
7
it yet.
already. Oh my gosh, like I would tell you to watch it right now, but man, I've never been so disappointed in a freaking game trailer in my life. I can't it's just so it almost just broke my heart because it was so interesting to begin with. Like I was like, oh, what is this game? This is something else. Like this is just it's got like this dude who's like a movie star or like whatever, and I was like, oh, but he's got that familiar face. But basically, like it looks like you're like this dude who's in like this like semi-futuristic world where like robots are already taking over, but then it kind of devolves into like psychodrama and like out of this world stuff. It's almost like it goes from like robots, AI, conspiracy drama, whatever, to like freaking Avengers Endgame. Like, where are we? We're at outer space, and we're like all of a sudden like everything's upside down. Like you've got even like inception levels of like buildings kind of folding into each other. And like, what is this game, man? Like this is crazy stuff. And then the reveal at the end is like Call of Duty Black Ops 7. And I'm like, oh no. Because it's not gonna be this psycho thriller crazy, all over the place kind of game. It's going to be your shooter game. And it's like, oh, geez, man, I was expecting. And it turns out that was the sentiment online. That was the sentiment online. Everybody was like, oh, dude, what is this? This is exciting. This is crazy. And then to find out it's just another Black Ops game. It's like, not that there's anything wrong with Call of Duty or Black Ops or anything like that. But when you present it in a certain way, you've got these like, oh my gosh, what is this going to be? And then all of a sudden it's just first person shooter game. It's like, ugh.
Like, maybe dude, they're introducing some new dynamics to Call of Duty.
Yeah, because we're up to 7 already. They better introduce something new. Oh my gosh, I can't believe we're at 7 already. It's like,
yeah, it feels like this is a game like it needs to take a few years off.
Oh, do you mean like Black Ops or Call of Duty in general? Because
Call of Duty in general.
Yeah, right. But
it's
Activision,
like they need to just take a few years. Like let people miss it.
I mean,
and
they
then
should
bring it back.
Absolutely, they should, and that's why they have all of these like devs on this like multi-year cycle of like every year. It's like like Infinity War, Treyarch, and gosh, I forget what the third one is. It was like not Warhammer, but like there's a third one, and like every year they're working on these games, and it's like 1 year it's a Treyarch game, 1 year it's an Infinity War game, 1 year it's another Sledgehammer. I think it's Sledgehammer, and even though they have like these cycles of like every year it's a different developer, it just feels too samey, or they're not doing enough to innovate. And the problem is because they have to, Activision, because they make so much money on Call of Duty every year, they feel pressure to bring it out every year. And it's like, yo, just give us a break. And it's like, you can only do so much with war. Yeah, you can only do so much with, like, you can't keep going back to like World War II. Like every few years, like they'll have like Call of Duty, they'll have Modern Warfare, Black Ops, Modern Warfare, Black Ops, and then surprise, we're back in World War I or World War II. And I'm like, guys, like, we can't keep doing this stuff. And it's like,
they gotta
I understand
people...
I understand the business. I understand the business reasons, but
same.
Yeah.
I just think they gotta let people, just gotta take a break, let people miss it for a little while, give like a foot, and I understand people's jobs are connected to this and all that, but like, we need like a 5-year break from Call of Duty,
and they have
people
Warzone.
A chance to miss it,
and they have Warzone.
People be like, shit. Then people will be like, oh, okay, now we got a new game, and it could be the same game, it could be the same shit, but people will like, oh, we haven't had anything new for a while, as opposed to like we're getting yearly updates of shit. So what is it,
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, that's
the thing is like
that's my
non
gamer perspective.
Yeah, and they have Warzone. They have like this free-to-play version of Call of Duty that everybody seems to love. I see a lot of people like streaming that and really enjoying Warzone, and that's a thing that gets constantly updated. So they can have that steady stream of like, you have this free-to-play version of Call of Duty that, just gets updated every so often. But the mainline, big, bombastic Call of Duty with the crazy single player, I remember those like during the early 2010s. I remember not really being into the online because I suck at it, but just being super into those single player campaigns because they were so Michael Bay, just crazy. Everything's just blowing up, and it's like, it's amazing. It's cool to watch, but at the same time, you're like, I can't keep doing this every year, guys.
Not
like,
every year, yeah. It's like
not every year.
It's like it's just too much.
And then like we're also getting to the point where like, we're using like historical events, like, and you see like Reagan and Bush and Clinton. I'm like, how close are we getting to like, like we're not gonna do Obama and Trump, are we? Like, I don't know how long. Like, you think like, I don't know, man. Like, I can't imagine a world where like we are using like.
Well,
like,
I
don't know
what Obama was what.
2008.
12 years ago?
Yeah. Like, I can't, like, I don't, like, I think the period that we are in right now is too sensitive to use those particular political figures.
Oh, yeah, not now. Like, this era that we're in now?
No.
10, 15 years from now?
Man, this
is going to be great for video games.
Oh, it's going to be great for video games. Like, it's going to be great when, like, all of us are, like, old and decrepit, but then the younger generation who didn't have to go through it, they're going to be like, man, those are some crazy times. Y'all had to go through that?
Yeah, what the hell's going on with y'all? That's wild.
What y'all did?
Crazy life. Yeah.
That's yeah,
Y'all
it's gonna make
okay?
for great. No, no, but it's gonna make for very interesting games 20 years from now, man. Whew.
Yeah.
And that's what Black Ops 7 is. It's a game that I had super like I was very pumped up for it, and then like Xbox to do that to me, like guys, you had a good show, you had a decent showing, and then to do that was just kind of ugh. Anyways,
Yeah, I'm gonna have to
so
watch the trailer after we finish.
yeah.
Because now you got me super interested in seeing it.
Yeah. I mean,
It
actually,
says
I
the
probably
most
shouldn't have.
mind-bending Black Ops ever. So there
Right.
you go.
And I'm sure probably it's gonna be like story sequences. It's probably gonna be cutscenes that show you that stuff. But I'm like, I want to play that. I want I want to go through
Yeah.
what you guys showed me in these scenes. Like I want to see like I said, Inception level like cities folding onto you, and then like upside down world that looks like the end credits of the first Avengers movie, where it's like just this dark world of like, and then to turn out it's a Black Ops game. What? Military
I
shooter?
mean,
What?
maybe they're
I mean,
changing some things.
maybe they did, and I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong, and it actually is this like genre bending, mind effing like type of game. I want my expectations to be shattered. I want them to challenge it and to actually do something different with the form because man, first person pew pew, I'm just kind of not into that. And you saw the list that I wrote for Hard Pass. Like look, if you look at those games, it's like not a lot of first person pew pew there, man. Not a lot of it. It's just
Yeah.
all,
Yeah.
fighting games, indie games, that kind of stuff. I mean, that's always been my jam, but now more than ever it's definitely more of my jam.
So we'll see. We'll see.
So anyway,
We'll see.
yeah.
I'll watch the trailer after this.
Anyways, so moving on, Jacques. So I want to talk about this article that both of us actually haven't had a chance to read because it's in print, by a friend of the program, Brendan Dunne. I just
BD.
saw a yeah. So he's got an article out on the Complex magazine, and it's available now. Go to your local newsstand if that's still a thing where you live. I don't think it's actually available in a lot of places, but it's also available online. You can buy it on complex.com, I guess. But Complex magazine, they've
Yeah.
got this, what is it, like a quarterly seasonal magazine that they put
I think it's
out?
quarterly magazine.
Oh, it's quarterly, yeah. So Brendan had an article about it, and he's talking about sneakers, and it's
Mm-hmm.
about, is it time for us to like new sneakers? And he talks about the reverence that we have for the past, and how
Right.
that's really fueled sneaker
Which is a true
culture
thing.
for. Yes, it's very true. It's powered sneaker culture for as long as there's been awareness of what sneaker culture is, I guess. It's
Yep.
like just a reverence, a deference, whatever you want to call it, to the past. And it seems like we are stuck in that mode where we find it hard to accept new sneakers. And Brendan is just saying, shouldn't we be ready for new? To look at the stuff that's out there, that's new, that's fresh, that's different, and to accept them the way that we accept Jordans, or that we accept
Mm-hmm.
the classics of the past. So,
Yeah.
and obviously we didn't get to read the article because it's not in print. And Complex, if you're listening, send me and Jacques copies. That'd be great. uh it's just, why is it that sneaker culture is so, or yeah, why is it that sneaker culture, I guess in whatever Brendan defines sneaker culture, why is it that we are so hesitant to accept new? Why are we not ready for new sneakers? Why should we be? It's those kinds of questions, right? Is like, why have we been so hesitant to accept new sneakers, I guess.
Yeah. I think there's a couple things that we can look at when we think about something like this. One, the brands. I think the brands have to give us something that is street worthy in a sense. Like
Mm-hmm.
performance has gotten so fine tuned that it makes it, I guess, less appealing on the lifestyle front when it comes to sneakers like those.
Mm-hmm.
The second thing is the consumer. We have to trust that the new stuff is better. And a lot of that comes down to, like, social currency. Like the new stuff doesn't have the same sort of social currency as the old stuff. And so some people don't necessarily wear that stuff, even though they may like it or it may be comfortable. It doesn't have the same sort of social currency, so they don't wear it. Um, then I think the other thing is just style culture overall. Culture,
Hmm.
especially right now, style culture is going back and is going backwards to like the baggier pants and that kind of bigger fit stuff, which bodes well for the older basketball shoes because they were generally bigger and bulkier. They weren't thinner. So someone way cooler than me is going to have to kind of break that barrier where they give like the newer, thinner, more fit, athletic looking stuff a chance to work and style it in a way where people will go, "Oh shit, that is dope. Let me try that out." Kind of like the boots only summer. Like you never would imagine that would be a thing or that people would start doing it, but people are doing it now because they see, "Oh, you know what? Oh, I can style this and this with that and put this and this with that." So they just need to they need those I think those three things need to be broken down in a sense for people in order for people to really get a better to start switching over from like using the old retro stuff and start rocking new things.
I mean, do you see a sneaker right now that is new? Like, I mean, Brandon, like in these slides on Complex, they use examples like the Alpha Fly, the Nike Alpha Fly stuff, or the Adi Zero Pro Evo. Like, are these the kind of shoes that that consumers should be looking for, or is it too techy? Is it too still too much for like the consumer to like is it because they can't find something to style it with? Like, what do you think?
I think it's too techy. Like when the Alpha Fly first
Okay.
came out, like I was rocking them for a while, just
Mm-hmm.
like on like when I would go to New York, I would wear them just out. And it's
Right.
a very techy shoe. And I think that's we've gotten, you know, we had techie shoes before,
Right.
but I don't think the market was as segmented back then. Or maybe it
Mm-hmm.
was. I just don't. I'm just remembering through frosted pane glass, but it just didn't feel like the market was as segmented back then between lifestyle and performance. And now the performance stuff is so fine tuned to this very specific task that wearing it outside of that task feels weird.
Right. Right. Like it's even that way to a certain degree with basketball shoes, right? I remember actually the criticism for Kobe's was like, oh, it's too far. Like, the stuff that people actually, it's interesting because the people that used to complain or whatever used to complain about like Kobe's being like super similar. Like if you think about the 4, 5, and 6, and even the 7 and the 8, they're like, oh, they all just look the same. Like that used to be
Uh-huh.
kind of like a common complaint that I would hear back then when the Kobe's were new. But it's
Right.
interesting that those complaints aren't really as common now because, and with the protros and everything, it seems like people have kind of just got it. Do you think it's just time though? Do you think it's almost impossible for a new shoe to break out? That it actually just needs to, it just takes time for people to just kind of get used to it and accept it. Do you feel like that's a part of it? Is like it just needs time. Like
I think
there's
it just
no
has to
way
be
for
the
a
right.
new.
It has to be the right shoe.
You think a new shoe can actually break through? Like you need an
Yeah.
actual newly designed with whether it's new tech or old tech. You think it's possible for even today for a new shoe, like a totally new silhouette, to break out? It just needs to have the right storytelling, the right people wearing it, and
Right
all that stuff.
storytelling, right price,
Right.
and right people wearing it. Like I thought the Pegasus Premium could become that shoe, but I think they
I think
priced
we
it
talked
too
about
high.
that. I think we talked
Yeah,
about that
I think
previously. Is
they,
like,
I think Nike just priced it too high and put it out
mm,
of the grasp of the people that could just kind of just buy it as like, oh, I'm gonna buy a pair of these. Those are like a thoughtful purchase as opposed to like, oh, I'm gonna
because it's
grab a pair
what,
of these.
200, right?
$200. Yeah,
It's like 200, right? Yeah, it should have been
yeah,
like 150. Do you think
yeah.
150 would have been a better number for that, or do you think it should be
I
even
think
lower than that?
150 would have placed it in a
Like in
different.
line with
Yeah.
your current Air Maxes.
Yep. I think that would
Place
have
in
changed
line
the
with
way
like your
people
Air
saw it.
Max. Yeah, I
Yep.
because we did have high hopes for it. I think I remember you sending me like the videos of you trying it on, and I was very, very like, oh, dude, that's cool. that is definitely
Yeah,
something
yeah, it
I
was
think could break through.
it like
So
the
yeah.
Pegasus Premium could have been like the new Air Max. It could have been like the new Air Max
Mm,
sneaker that people wore all the time, but
mm,
they were just more aggressive with the pricing than I think the market was comfortable seeing. Um, although I mean I haven't seen them on sale. I'm look at Nike right now. I don't think that they've gone on sale, so that usually
oh no,
bodes
I've been
well
looking.
that
You're right.
people are buying them.
You're right. They
That seem makes
they
it
haven't gone
thinks
on
that
sale, so which is either
yeah,
Nike thinking we have to like keep this at this price range because this is the price range of that, or people are
yeah,
actually buying them. Like it's one of those either two things. Is like we like this is the price point. We can't let it go below that because we don't want to diminish the value, or people are actually buying it at that price point. So it's either one or the other. I've also noticed like in some of the comments that I've read, like in with this story is like there's more to sneaker culture besides like your Nikes or your Adidas's and all that stuff. And you do see it though.
right.
You see a lot of people wearing Hokas. You see a lot of people wearing On Runners, Salomons,
Hmm.
you name it. Those more tech focused, but also seems like they're ready for streetwear kind of runners. Like at least from my perspective, I just see a lot of people
Yeah.
wearing them out. Like your Hokas, your Cliftons, and your Solomons, your XT3, your XT3s, I think is that's what it's called. Yeah, but
Yep.
and your on
Yep.
runners, like a lot of people love their ons, dude. Like, and it's everybody. People who I think would probably consider them sneakerheads wear on runners, and I obviously a lot of casual. Everybody just wear on runners, and I'm like, man, ons just kind of took on a life of its own
Yeah.
here, dude.
Ons are
It's kind
everywhere.
of crazy to think about. Yeah.
Whenever I travel, On is the most common shoe that I see. Even when I was at Masters, um, On it was interesting because at Masters there was a ton of like On and like technical runners like Saucony and
Mm-hmm.
Brooks and Hoka. Like a lot of those were out and about. So I don't know like what that says. Is just like is that a comfort thing? But also like you got to think that like an Alpha Fly isn't the most comfortable shoe either.
Yeah.
So maybe
Right. Right.
and I haven't tried on the Adidas running shoe, so maybe like those shoes are very specific. They're not like they're comfortable, but they're not like walk around comfortable. They're like I need to do a task in these comfortable kind of thing. I don't know. It's different.
Yeah, and you're
But
right. Like you saw them at the Masters, and I got to see it in Europe firsthand. It was like not there's Nikes definitely, but there's definitely more Hokas and On Runners
mhm.
especially. That was definitely like a popular shoe just walking around Paris and everything. Like man, look at all these people just like rocking not the same stuff that we wear here. Like I didn't see a lot of Jordans. I didn't see a lot of actually. Funny enough, I saw a couple of Vans, and I was like, man, Vans. They made it here, huh? That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But Jordans was definitely not a thing in Europe from my what I experienced. I was like, oh, it's just not. It just doesn't resonate for them. So yeah, like I think we're looking at it from the perspective of like the Jordans and all that stuff. Like I get people are ready for new sneakers. It's just not the brands, I guess, that we are accustomed to seeing like in all of these
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
sneaker culture
Yeah.
proper, I guess. Like it's like we're moving on is a weird term because I think we still definitely have those reverence for those Jordans and those legacy Nikes and Adidas's and all that stuff, but it feels like the taste is just shifting towards other brands. Like I think
Yep.
we are like as a
100%.
whole we are just moving on. And do you think that's do you think that when it comes to the legacy sneaker media, do you think it's kind of hard for them to kind of get that feeling or accept that Nikes and Jordans just aren't the wave that they used to be? Like, do you feel like then that's why we see these kinds of articles and that's why we see these kinds of coverage? It's like we still want to hang on to the Jordans and everything, but and not accept the fact that Solomons and Hokas and Ons are what people look for now.
That's a great question. Yeah, I mean, I guess you when we think of like the biggest brand, they obviously think of Nike, and like people aren't wearing the biggest brands. New sneakers can
Right.
obviously cause a shift in that way, or Adidas. People aren't wearing Adidas's newest sneakers. It's like these smaller brands of new sneakers that they're wearing. But I mean, even some of those aren't necessarily new. Like New Balance has a few models mixed in here and there, but most of the
Right,
time
right,
people
New
are
Balance.
wearing like old runners from them. And
Yeah,
I'm not familiar enough with like Saucony and Brooks and On and Hoka's catalog to know if those are new models that people are wearing. Are those people wearing like old On shoes? Like are the ones that people are wearing? Are those Ons that were made like 10 years ago and people are just still wearing that same model? So I don't know. I'm not familiar enough with their catalog to know the difference. Like I see Ons and they all look the same to me unless it's a high or a low or something like that. But
right.
it's all the same shoe.
Yeah,
So I don't know. I don't know, but that's a great question. Like that people think of Nike and then think of Adidas as like the big brands. And if people aren't wearing the new shoes from those big brands, what does that say about the market as a whole?
right. And I think the onus has to be on these, the sneaker media to kind of get out of their comfort zone and to start talking about Hokas and start covering them like the way we in our blog era used to cover Jordans and
Yeah.
Nikes and all that stuff. I think the onus has to be on them to cover it in that way because that's what the people are looking for. Like that's what we see people wear. Like you look at the Absorb, like we mentioned it in the Coco Golf bit during the show.
Yeah.
I said that it was we said that it was like coming out like today or yesterday or whatever, and then I looked it up today and I'm like, oh, it's sold out. That Absorb, which is basically like a I wouldn't say new, but it's like a newer style because of like the
Newer
upper is a little
style.
bit
Yeah.
different. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then I actually heard somebody like I saw somebody say like, oh, those are basically like New Balance shocks, and I'm like, okay, that's almost not a bad thing because I like shocks.
Right.
So
Right. We can't
I was like, oh, you
like.
can't say that like
Are
it's
you?
a bad thing. You don't
Yeah. Are you saying that as a bad thing,
diminish
or are
the.
you
Yeah, you're saying it's a
acknowledging that
bad
we
thing,
all
good
like
thing. Yeah.
it?
Yeah, man,
Yeah.
don't hate on shocks, man. Shocks was a thing, man. Don't be. But but that's also part of the problem is like, is there like a part of it is like sneaker media is kind of stuck in the past and maybe they just need to like update their their settings and their firmware
Yeah.
and to like
Change
actually
their
like,
setting and their
update like their database.
what they're looking
Right.
for. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it makes sense. Makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. So, yeah, so look for more coverage on Hokas and all that stuff. But yeah, in the future here on Hard
On the
Pass and
show.
Too
Yeah.
Hard, Too Fast. Uh,
This is
yeah,
our way of attacking ourselves and being like, we got to put some new shit on the show. Got it. Okay. All right.
yeah,
Noted.
yeah.
Noted.
And also,
Noted.
and
We
also
need
if
to do better.
Hoka, and also if any of these brands want to like talk to us, that'd be also great too. Like inform us, let us know what y'all are about because I like
Right.
Hokas. Like my family, like literally everybody in my family now wears Hokas all the time, and I'm like, man, I just need to find the right one for me. I'm just like every time I go to like the mall.
Mm.
And I go to like your Nordstrom and everything. I'm like, I see Hokas and I'm like, man, I just need to find the right one. Like I just haven't
Right.
had
Need to
been able to
find the
buy a
right.
pair of
Yeah.
Hokas, and I'm just like, find that right one. Like New Balance, I've just been like jumping onto New Balance like for like a couple of years now. I just have a bunch of New Balance at the house now, which is funny because like New Balance used to send me like sneakers all the time, and it was just like it was always the 574, which I guess was like kind of like the
Yeah.
mistake was like, dude, don't send me 574s. That was always just kind of like the if they had sent me
Yeah.
like the
Yeah. They said
990s and all that
574 is
stuff,
like
I would have been like
crazy.
on.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like their most basic, generic, but also not feel great shoes. At least in my feet, like I never really liked the feel of 574s. But if they had sent earlier, previously, like like during that time, they had sent me like the 990s and all that stuff, I would have been like, cool, New Balance is
Yeah.
cool. Like I love this stuff, love this stuff. But yeah, yeah, no, I thought that was just an interesting piece by Brendan, and I guess our takeaway from it is like, I think we all need to
We all
update.
need to cover
I
newer
guess.
stuff. There you go.
Yeah, like
That's the takeaway.
it's like we're ready for new sneakers, yes, but it's also on us to like be aware of them too. I guess at the end of the day, it's
Right.
like we need to be aware of them. It's like
It's like
actually
two
give them the
things can
proper
be true.
yes, yes. That should be a segment. Both things can be true. Yeah, that should be a
Both
segment on
things
the
can
show.
be true. We need new
Yeah,
stuff and we need to cover new stuff. Yeah.
God, imagine if we had done Hard Pass and that was actually the theme of the show instead of like we take a look at something in the culture that just needs to go. It's like, no, these two things can be true, but how would you word that? Like, how would you title a show where the premise is these two things can be true? Like I don't even know what the proper phrase for that would be. Like what's the one word thing, right? Like both
Yeah,
things can be
there's no
true.
one
Like
word.
too
Yeah.
true, too true. Anyway, but that's a different show for another time. Anyways, Jacques, it's almost that time of the end of the show, so let's do this. It's time
All right.
for
I'm
everybody's
ready.
favorite sneaker segment. It's
I'm ready.
Sneaker Up. I messed up. It's
Wow.
Sneaker Mount Rushmore plus time. Would
All
it be
right, I'm
bad if we
ready.
did the horn? Would it be bad if we actually did the horn?
No, I don't think so.
Eh,
I don't
I
think
don't know.
so.
I need a soundboard. I need one of those like stream decks that just like plays the thing. Anyways, in honor of our review of Power Moves with Shaquille O'Neal on Netflix, I thought it'd be funny
Shaq
and fun. Yeah, if we did the Reebok sneaker Mount Rushmore Plus as a brand, as a whole,
as
because
a whole.
Shaq, Allen Iverson, that's their goal is to bring Reebok back to the forefront. Well, at least be a solid number
Hmm.
two, because that's a whole theme of the show is Shaq is like, we were always number two. We were a good number two. We were never number one, but we were always a good number two. That's a bad Shaq. I'm sorry.
No, that wasn't terrible.
I got 4 rings. Well, you got four. He did. That was the funniest part about the show. Is like, I wanted to do like a count, and unfortunately, I only did it once. He only did the 4 ring thing once. I was like, oh, okay. Well, at least he did do it. But anyways, yeah, Reebok, they're trying to make that comeback, and they're doing it through Shaq and AI. Feels like they're doing, it's baby steps. It's baby steps to get back to that, level of prominence and everything. But Reebok does have a rich history. And we just talked about, like, if we're ready for new shoes, but Reebok does have a rich history of classics from the past and, like, from the
Yep.
80s and the 90s, not so much in the 2000s, but that we revere to this day. So today, for the categories, going to be a little bit different. We're going to go with one category is Allen Iverson. Just
Uh-huh.
Allen Iverson, I would say. I know people like to consider Shaq maybe the most important guy in Reebok history. I would argue it's actually AI, just in terms of like longevity and like staying power and the cultural impact that he had. I would actually argue AI is the top
Okay.
guy
Okay.
in Reebok. And then second category is just basketball in general. Third is classics, which is, Reebok Classics has its own line of, like, through the years of,
Hmm.
past silhouettes that have, maintained their relevance to this day. Trainers are definitely like a big part of like the Reebok
Yeah.
stable. Definitely had a lot of
Yeah.
great trainers from back in the days. And then, like, from the early 2010s, Zig Tech and all that stuff. So, trainers are definitely
Yep.
that. And then finally, the one holdover, a wild card. So, um, who went first last week? Was it me or you? I forget. We always
I
do
think
this. Like,
you
who
went
should
first last week.
you went first? Oh no, I went first. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So I guess you're up first. What would be your pick on the Allen Iverson for the Allen Iverson category of sneaker Mount
I mean, you
Rushmore
have to go
plus?
with the questions. You have to go with the questions.
Right.
There's nothing
Uh,
really that compares. Like, I think, like, when you think of Allen Iverson, I think that's the shoe.
mhm.
That well, there's a couple others, but I think the question is like the main one that I think most people in the world would recognize when you talk about him.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't know. Does AI already have a statue in Philly? He should. If he doesn't already, he should have a statue. And
That's a good question. I
if
don't
he does,
know.
that's probably the shoe, right? That's probably the shoe that ends up on his
That's this.
statue.
I don't know. I don't think they will put that on his statue.
You don't think the question would go on the statue?
No, I
Oh,
think they would
interesting.
use like the four or something like
And
that.
that was actually going to be my second pick. That was actually going to be my second choice, which is also my choice for sneaker Mount Rushmore of Allen Iverson sneaker. Well, the Allen Iverson sneakers in the Reebok category. Um, the answer four, because that's the one that he wore
Yeah.
in the NBA Finals. He had that infamous, step over on Tyronn Lue. Yeah, I mean that would be my pick for the Allen Iverson category. The answer four. So yeah, that would, if the question isn't going to be the sneaker on AI statue, it has to be the answer four.
So they do. The statue has him rocking the fours
Oh,
outside of
okay.
the
Well, there
the
you go.
76ers practice facility.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I was
So
like,
it's
I
perfect.
know, I was like yeah, that had to be the one. Yeah,
Yeah, I
that,
mean,
that makes the most. That makes the most sense.
yeah, no, definitely valid, valid. All right. So for basketball, like just through the huge history of like Reebok basketball shoes, I could go with the Pump, go with the Shack Attack, Sean Kemp's Kamikazes, but I'm gonna go with the Shaq Gnosis. The Reebok Shaq Gnosis. I remember
Mm.
those coming out. Shaq was still in Orlando. It was just so funky and weird, and I thought they were super cool as a kid. And I wanted a pair, but I never got them. I didn't get them until they retroed, like during like the 2010s and during the 2010s and everything. And I was like, man, yes, finally got a pair of the Shaq Gnosis. But yeah, so that would be my pick for basketball, the Reebok Shaq Gnosis.
For me, I'm gonna go with the Kamikaze just because it was such a unique shoe. It's not called the Kamikaze anymore. What's it called now?
Oh, we don't. Yeah, I think it's a Hurikaze or something, or like we can't. Yes, unfortunately, we just don't call it the Kamikazes
Yeah,
anymore because of
yeah,
cultural reasons. But yeah, I think they did rename it recently, it was like the Hurikazes or something. But
the
we know what you were
Hurikaze or
talking
something
about.
like that. Yeah,
We
yeah,
know
like
what we're
that.
talking about when we
That
talk
would be
about
for
that.
me. It was just
Yeah,
like the
Sean
most
Kemp's.
dynamic shoe out there. Yeah, the look, it was just
Hmm.
so dynamic. The look was like very unique. The line, like it just kind of popped. It kind of popped off of like the shoe wall more than anything else that you really saw at the time. So that's why that one's in my brain as the
It's
basketball shoe.
and it really fits Sean Kemp. Like it really fit his vibe, just like the thunderous dunks and everything. It just really made sense, right?
Yeah.
Like like Sean Kemp was just the perfect shoe for the perfect. It was the perfect athlete to wear that shoe, and it just
Yep.
made sense. Sean Kemp. Okay, so I'm next.
And then
So I'm
it's your
gonna
turn,
go
Snake. Yeah, Snake still.
Snake Sounds. Yes. So oh no, wait, no. So I already. Oh no, wait. No. It's your turn because you're classics. It should be your turn because I already went with Iverson
No,
in basketball.
we
Then
have
your
to do
basketball.
Snake. Oh,
Uh,
classics. Oh, so then it's me.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, I
It's
got to
you.
go with
Yeah.
the Club C. Got to go with the Club
Club
C.
C. Right.
Yeah, it's
Definitely.
just it looks good, and I recently got a pair. Where are they? Are they over here? Recently got a pair from Nanners. So Nanners did a
All
golf
right.
collection with Reebok,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and they have
I
the
always
Club C in there.
cool.
It
Always fun
looks
when
it
Jacques
looks
breaks out with the
really
shoes.
good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it looks good. It's a like especially this colorway. I was actually gonna wear this shirt today. This So the
And
only
people who
issue that I
are
have with this, for people, the
nice.
only issue that I have with this is that they didn't send the golf version of the Club
Oh,
C.
it's not the golf
They just
version.
sent the
Interesting.
no, it's just the regular version. So I was like, why wouldn't you guys make a golf version of the Club C for a golf
Oh,
collab?
interesting.
But
Yeah, yeah. Totally, totally.
people smarter than me make these decisions. So
Don't sell yourself short, buddy. Like we are,
yeah.
and like we're all we're all smart people around here. SMRT dope. So, I am so smart. I am so SMRT. Dang it.
That's funny.
Anyways,
All right.
so my pick for the classics is I'm going to go with the classic leather. It's
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
has the word classic on it. You can't really go wrong with it. You know, it's it's almost like their Air Force One, their Samba. I mean, they're a superstar, right? It's the most
Yeah, I guess
it's the one that's
so.
kind
Huh,
of
I guess I
stood the
never
test
thought
of
about it like
time.
that.
Like I mean, I guess people look at the workout as also maybe that sneaker, but I think the leather has kind of been the one that's the go-to. Like I see a lot of collabs for
Yeah.
the leather. I see it a lot of different styles and colorways. Like they like to remix the leather into different materials and finishes and everything. So I feel like the leather seems to be the it's hard to say like is it their most iconic shoe, but it's definitely up there. It's on the short list of when people think of Reebok, they think of the classic leather. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I had a pair when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Pretty sure my dad bought me a
Yeah,
pair when
but
I was a kid too.
yeah, hearing you say that, I guess that is like their Air Force One or their Samba or
Right.
their yeah, or their Shelter. Yeah. Huh. I guess I never thought of it that way, but yeah, that's spot on.
Do you
All
feel
right, and then
like
I think it's your turn.
Yes, yes. And
for the
I
last
just
one.
need, yeah, for trainers. Oh no, we still have the wild card. We still have the wild card. I'm trying to. I need to get the right name for this because I've seen it online. I don't have a pair, and for all I know, it could feel like crap. But I like the look of the Premier Road Ultra. Like it's a relatively new silhouette, I guess, from Reebok. It's a runner, trainer looking style shoe. And for whatever reason, I see it every time I'm online. I'm like, why don't I buy a pair of these? It's just another one of those I need, I just need the right colorway, I guess.
Hmm.
And for whatever reason, when I look at it, I'm like, why is this not popping off like a Vomero or a Gel or a Cayano 14? Like, because people are super
Yeah,
into, that style of runner these days. And I'm just surprised that with the way it looks like a modern Reebok runner. Like, it's not like your classically styled runner. Like, the way that they implement the logo on it, it just seems like it should work. It should like be a hit. But for some reason, it just hasn't popped off. And
just didn't pop off.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But I like the way they look. And again, I don't know how they feel because I haven't gotten a pair. It could it could hurt my feet. It could be too narrow. It could be whatever. But visually, just aesthetically, I like the way these look. The Reebok Premier Road Ultra.
I like that. So for my trainer, I'm gonna go with one that I just thought was hideous, the Zig Tech. I just, I just, I mean, I just didn't understand. Maybe
Right.
that's the best way to say it. I just didn't understand. They had a basketball version, they had a training version, that they even had one called Zignition, and I was just like, oh my god, what are you guys doing? What are you guys doing? But they in the CrossFit world, like people love ZigTech. It's like a
Yeah.
thing for them.
Yeah.
So, as much as my bias is like what's going on here, people love the shoe. So I can't complain too much. So shout out to ZigTech and the Reebok ZigTech and the Zignition and there was another one like Zignetica or something like that, or
Oh my
Zig
God,
Kinetic. It was
really? Oh
something
yeah, you know
weird.
what? You're
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
You're right. You're
Yeah, they
right.
had all
They
kind of
do.
like these like Zig something or other. Yeah, so shout out to them for that.
How?
And then
Oh, good. Yeah, yeah. For
what
your
you
wild
say?
card. Well, no, wild card, right? Your wild card. Yeah.
So wild card, you've got to go with the classic Reebok pump. Um, it's just the ultimate like crossover tennis basketball shoe that there is.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, like it's legend. That's like that shoe's just legendary in my mind.
Right.
Like when I think of Reebok, I think of a couple things. I think of Shacknosis, I think of the classics, and then I think of the Reebok pump. Like I think even more than like the Club C, I think of the Reebok pump. So that's got to be my wild card.
Right. Awesome. Yeah. No, I was about to ask what like how long are we from Zig coming back and becoming like the next big thing? Like how far
I don't
away
even.
are
Is
we
it
from?
gone? I don't even
No,
know. Is it
I
gone?
think they still
Is it?
do make it, but like how far are we from like, sneaker hipsters from like wherever latching on to the
Oh,
the Zig Tech and being like, yo man, these are like the wave, like it's gonna be like Zig only summer or something like that, like how far away from are we from that,
Zig
like 10
only
years,
summer.
like like are we on that, like is that, are we there,
Bro, it could be
man?
10 years, it could be 10 days. You never know how style changes. But I could see it. Oh, like right now they have the Zig Wild, the Zig Dynamica. So,
What?
yeah. Shout out to the
Wow,
Zig. The Zig is
amazing.
you never know. You never know. I'm sure there's some influencer out there right now that's doing it.
Maybe that's what Shaq and AI should be doing, is like reaching out to the kids and being like, Zig's the wave, guys.
Yeah, rock the Zigs.
The four Zig rings or something like that. Like, Shaq, come on, what are you doing here? Anyways, for my wild card, so you went with the pump, and I was like, oh yeah, that's a good choice. That probably would have been what I would have picked. But because just for jokes, I'm either gonna go with the G units or the S Carters.
Okay. Okay. Respect.
And I think I'm gonna go with the G units only because about a year or two ago, I was at a one of those like retro video game conventions at the was it LA Convention Center, Ontario, one of those, one like a convention. And for some reason, someone had a fresh pair of G units, size nine and a half.
I appreciate the flex. I appreciate the flex.
If it was size 11, I would have bought it on site. But it was like,
that's funny.
It was. I'm like, these aren't worn. He's like, yeah, no, not worn. And I forget how much it was. I think it was asking for whatever, $100 or whatever. But if it was size 11, I would have bought them right away, and I would have been like, Jacques, look what I got.
You should have bought them regardless. Yeah, but
I want to wear them. I want to wear them. I want to wear a fresh pair of G units. I never had the G units back then. I didn't have the S Carters.
Yeah, neither did I.
Like I think at that time I was like, I want the answer 4. Oh no, I wanted the answer 5 when I was like in my era of like, I just need to have one of every brand. Like, you know, during that time where I was like, my broke ass could only afford like, you know, okay, well, I need to at least have one Nike, one Reebok, one Adidas or something like that, just for whatever reason. And at that time, my one Reebok was the answer 5 instead of like the G units or the S Carters. But yeah, shout out to that guy wherever you are. I don't know if you still have your fresh pair of G units. But if you do, and if you know anybody has a size 11, please hit me up.
That's such a flex. I'm trying to think, where would I wear those? You'd have to wear them to like a sneaker event, and then for people to be like, oh, okay. You can't wear those to the grocery store. Yeah. You can't.
Wait, dress up in full G unit regal and like, you know, go to like the grocery store or something.
Go to Whole Foods. in your G unit. Go to Whole Foods in your G units.
In the whole full, like, you know, 50 Cent, like, you know, outfit and everything. That would be, I don't know. I don't think I could. No, I don't think that would be a horrible picture.
That's funny. Anyways,
yes.
All right, folks.
That was episode 41. Of the 41. Too Hard to. Yeah. Awesome. Episode 41 of Too Hard to Pass podcast. I am your co-host, Juan Martinez. Jacques Slater to my right.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were going to do shameless plugs.
I was just going, yeah.
Like,
I'm just
comment, subscribe, leave all the good stuff on the comments and everything. 5 stars on the platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and all that stuff. If you have questions, concerns, complaints, send it to the mailbox. It is toohardtopasspodcast@gmail.com. Again, that is toohardtopasspodcast@gmail.com. That's the number 2.
Calm. Number 2.
And again, thank you again for watching and listening to the show. Jacques, do you have anything to say besides the ad-libs?
Nope. I was just doing ad-libs, bro. That was my contribution to the outro. Ad-libs.
I'm sorry. Like, I apologize for not knowing this, because I did listen to your album from back in the days. What was your ad-lib? What was your thing? Did you have a thing?
I didn't have a thing.
Oh, okay. Like
I didn't have like a specific ad-lib.
Oh,
I didn't have like a or I just kind of did everything. Just kind of whatever made the music sound better.
Okay. What is your favorite ad-lib?
That's got to be like the best one. Like if you're agreeing, like somebody's rapping and they've got a heart. It's not even Jay. It's just like a general thing. But, you know, like somebody's saying something really dope and they're like, And it's like,
okay. I see what you're saying. Yeah. Actually, no. When you think of I do think of Jay though. But like, I am partial to the Rick Ross. I am very partial to that.
That's a good one too.
Yeah, I'm very partial to that one. Not so much with the Migos stuff or, you know, whatever, but ad-libs, the Rick Ross.
Yeah, like the Rick Ross one is like only at the beginning of a song though. It's like beginning of the verse. When he's about to go. Like in the middle of the verse. It's like, and somebody, and then like they're going to, like you like feel that, like you feel the energy. With Ross is just in the beginning, it's just like, or like the clips when they're like, like that.
That one, the clips one is it. Wasn't there like a joke of like how you spell that back then or something? Like, he actually had to like spell it or something. There was like a joke going around like, so how do you spell it, Push? And also, I now that we talked about it, the DMX what? like that's also another classic one. Because X is one of my favorites, and the energy of that was always great. So yeah, no, shout out to X, RIP. But yeah, so that was the show. And thanks again for watching, listening, and all that good stuff. And we are out, and stay tuned for an Easter egg if I remember to actually do that.
Peace, y'all.
Oh, this thing's like way off. Things.
Go ahead, fix yourself while we're recording. That's cool. Yeah, that's great. That's great. That's what the people want to see. That's what the people want to see.
We are not going to show this part. Actually, you know what we're going to do is I'm going to like cut this and then show it at the end of the video. So it's like an Easter egg or something or whatever.
Oh, sure. Yeah. So if this is the beginning of the video, or if this is the end of the video, this was supposed to be in the beginning, and Juan cut it because he didn't want you guys to see him fixing himself. Just FYI.
Well,
anyway, welcome to the show.